Now I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to watch The Godfather Part 1. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Because if you don't watch this movie, you are missing out on, quite simply, the greatest story that has ever been crafted and put to film.
Peter.
Now here's the thing. People hesitate with this movie. They think it's just another old mafia movie, right? I mean, they're so wrong. It's about gangsters. What could it teach me about life? I don't care. I've seen it all before. Let me tell you something here. You haven't seen it all before. This is the original. This is the mothership of mafia movies. This is where it all came from, lads, okay? Beautifully crafted. It's not just about gangsters, it's about power, family, betrayal, and the human condition. And you're depriving yourself of brilliance every second you don't hit play, lads. Genuinely. And it's not just a movie, it's a life lesson in 3 hours, lads. Wrapped in stunning visuals, dialogue that stays with you for years. You've got Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, James Caan, and so many other more greats. Robert Duvall, can't forget him. Some of the greatest actors of all time that are starring in this. The Godfather is considered a masterpiece, lads. Not just because of Oscar-winning Marlon Brando here. He won the Oscar for this. Yeah. That's right. And he's the greatest actor of all time. But it's the haunting score by Nino Rota. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'd question any human being that has never heard The Godfather. It would be a shock to the system. It reflects life's grey areas. Good and bad blur into one, right? You've got Vito Corleone, the man, terrible things he does. But he loves, obviously, his kids. You got Michael, the reluctant son. He never wanted to be part of the business. But funnily enough, he gets to the head of the business. I mean, and how does he do it? Well, you'll have to see. Now, as you watch, the tension builds like a symphony, lads, right? There's the wedding scene, the opening scene. Joyful, fun, chaotic. But at the same time, laced with secrets, you can feel this there's a darkness, just teasing its way up onto the surface as you watch the wedding scene, right? There you've got the power play between the Corleones and the families begins here. This is all where it all begins. And the scene in the hospital where Michael stands guard over his dad, okay? We won't be ruining anything for you here, lads. That's a tense scene, man. That's a really tense scene. And then the restaurant, probably, well, it has to be in the top 3 scenes of all time. Because the restaurant scene, and I'll leave it at that, okay? It's a real turning point for one of the characters. And from this scene on, you really buy into who this character is. I'm not going to say anything. I won't spoil anything for you. But, it's not just a plot twist. It's a character metamorphosis, right? The quiet son, that's all I'll say. The quiet son becomes the cold-blooded leader, and you can't look away. And then the baptism scene. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. This movie now was made before they really had blockbuster action Hollywood hits. So you got to remember and take that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're watching this movie. I mean, the baptism scene, just wow, man. There's innocence, sin, devotion, there's chaos, life, there's death. There's, Michael renounces Satan in church, lads. His enemies are wiped out with brutal precision. And that moment, that's cinema. Lads, it's cinema, pure cinema gold. That's storytelling at its finest. This is why The Godfather is untouchable, lads. Now, by the time the credits roll, I really think, whether you're a man or a woman, I think you'll be in awe. Not just of the story, lads, but how it makes you feel. It's not just entertainment. It's enlightening. I honestly think it is. You'll probably question loyalty, morality, how far you'd go to protect what matters most. I think when you finally understand Michael shuts the door on Kay in the final shot, you realize you've just witnessed perfection. Perfection. So what are you waiting for? Don't just sit around, lads. Watch it and let it change you. And you know, when you've done, come back and we'll talk about The Godfather Part 2 as well, and Part 3 coming up. The Godfather Part 1 isn't just a movie, lads. It's an offer you can't refuse. Oh, we are back, baby! That's right, everybody in the house, will they get a load of me? Alright, ladies and gents, we are talking about the movie Scrooged. Lads, I mean, talk about just an absolute classic show. Now, I know some people, they're in a bit of a twisted mind about this, I guess. Well, not a twisted mind, but you know what I mean. People are conflicted about this movie. Now, if you have not seen it, I honestly think, even if you don't like Christmas, if you really take this movie in, you get a smile on your face. I'm being serious. I have a tradition every year, lads. 1st of December, I don't care if it's a Monday night, a Wednesday night, a Sunday night, whatever it is. Every Christmas, 1st of December, it's my own tradition for myself. I literally watch Scrooged every year. I'll only watch it the once. And, you know, lads, I love Christmas. But I tell you, if there's such a good message in this, and people, I think, kind of overlook it too, you know? Like, what if Charles Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol, but on a coffee bender in the 80s? What if you had Bill Murray, a TV executive who's more Grinch than Bob Saget? I don't know, ghosts who'd rather roast you than toast a Christmas cheer. And a storyline that's somehow heartwarming and bonkers. It's a masterpiece, or just a chaotic fever dream? Let's dive in. Okay, lads, here's the deal. So we've got Bill Murray, Frank Cross. Anti-hero, that's for sure. He's not just your average Scrooge, all right? No. Frank is one of these corporate guys, a real tyrant fella, right? Dressed in Armani, the best stuff that you can get. He'd greenlight a show called Santa's Exploding Sleigh, and he'd throw in TNT dynamite just to make sure that it actually explodes, you know? Like, this guy's, he's a rotten apple, man, you know? And he'd do it all for the ratings. Right? And like, he's got no time for family. He's got no patience for kindness. Absolutely no idea how to smile without scaring someone to death. He's a complete a-hole to his his secretary, right? She's just miserable. You know, maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you've got a boss or a manager that is just like this, you know? And Frank is basically like every middle manager you'd send sending emails at 3 a.m. Let's circle back on this, lads. Come on, let's get this done. And he'd expect everything for it, right? And, you know, but this guy, he's out to get the wake-up call of a lifetime, okay? 3 ghosts come visit him. Kind of a sort of a redemption holiday he goes on. Now, lads, this is where the genius really kicks into this. I mean, it's just modernize A Christmas Carol. They threw in a blender with neon lights, slapstick comedy, kind of like almost like Naked Gun, right? Which we're going to do a review on that, by the way, too. Awesome shows. A healthy dose of existential dread, lads. The Ghost of Christmas, past, present, future. I mean, forget the gentle guides from the Dickens novels, lads, if you've ever read them. Forget them. Toss them out. In Scrooge, they're like chaotic life coaches and who kind of specialize in tough love. That's really what he kind of is, you know? And like, personal favorite, Carol Kane's Ghost of Christmas Past, a tiny, sparkly psychopath who punches Frank in the face and teaches him about compassion. It's the holiday energy we know we needed. Now, the comedy is kind of off the charts. It's a bit dark. There's good comedy, I think, too, as well. But, you know, the movie really has heart, lads, you know, and Frank spirals out of control. Okay? He does. And you start to see the cracks in Mr. Grinch here, you know, and it's nice to see, and he's just holding on for dear life to not crack. you wonder why. But is it just pure insecurity, fear of getting hurt again, right? And we get glimpse of his childhood, tragic childhood, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. His last love. I mean, she's a lovely woman, and you're just like, oh my God, she's so beautiful, Claire. And a soft-sided burial underneath years of cynicism, lads. It's like watching your snarkiest friend try not to cry at a puppy video. It is good, and you can see it, and I think that's why we're hooked on this movie, because you're waiting for him to pop, and you can feel it's gonna pop. You just don't know when, you just don't know how, but it's coming, lads. It's coming. And and trust me, there's no small feat, because at the start of the movie, Frank is as likable as a fruitcake left out in the summertime here. And then we get to the grand finale, lads. I mean, this is just such a heartwarming ending of any movie. And even for me, my tradition, right? I think I love it because it does give you that, even if you're having a bad day, a bad week, you're having a fight with the missus, the husband, whatever it is, or whoever, someone in your family, there still can be niceness. There's love in the world. I know maybe that sounds corny, all right, lads, so just give me a bit of rope here, all right? But the corny works. It does. And Scrooge it's not just a Christmas movie, lads. It's a holiday exorcism. It's funny, weird, enough heart to get you at the end, right? And it's a reminder that even like the biggest beep can find redemption, like with a help from supernatural and maybe face slapping fairy dust, right? And it's, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor, lads, and add it to your holiday roster here if you have one. Honestly, nothing says Christmas like Bill Murray yelling, "You're gonna love this." And we're going to finish here, lads. And, I really want to say this. And, okay, give me some rope here on the cringe, all right? Okay, corny, whatever you call it. Not to necessarily quote Bill Murray at the end of this movie, but he says at one stage that it's a miracle that everybody is nicer this time of year, right? And look, if you believe in Christmas, if you don't, even for the people that don't believe in Christmas, if you think it's a big con and blah, 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 okay? Look, I'm not trying to take the piss out of you here. But, he is right. It is a miracle. I mean, can you imagine everybody being just that nicer to each other in the summertime? In January time? So no matter what, lads, even if you don't like Christmas, maybe it's because you do really want to believe in Christmas and you love Christmas. You just got burned by someone, right? And they ruined your Christmas, which, by the way, hey, it can happen. Oh, man. And, touch wood for all of us this year that you don't. But what if you could just open up a little bit more and just take in this movie, lads? And even the biggest a-holes in the world can still find a bit of joy. I'm signing off. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why you need to see Better Call Saul, baby. Lads, if you think you've seen it all on TV, huh? You think Breaking Bad was the pinnacle of drama? Sweet Lord, I won't even say it, you haven't seen Better Call Saul. Now, I was thinking, yeah, everybody's seen Better Call Saul at this stage. You think that, right? I thought the same thing about Breaking Bad, but this is why I'm reviewing Better Call Saul, because there's so many people that haven't even got into it yet. It mind boggles me. In fact, I even can't still believe I'm doing this review of Better Call Saul. Anyway, lads, this show makes legal malpractice look like a work of art. Peter. Wow. Now, here's the problem, lads, okay? You're out binge-watching all sorts of TV programs. Now, I've recommended quite a few TV programs here, right? And everything that I've reviewed so far, check them out if you haven't seen them. They're really, really good, okay? Better Call Saul has to be up at one of the top ones. It really, really does, especially if you have seen Breaking Bad. I mean, if you've seen Breaking Bad but not Better Call Saul yet, you need to go to the doctor, man. You got problems. Seriously, like. I mean, Something's missing when you haven't seen Better Call Saul. It fills in, it closes the gaps, it puts everything into place with Breaking Bad, and Better Call Saul comes along and it's the whole ingredient. It's the whole cake with the cherry on top, lads. That je ne sais quoi shows that equal parts masterful storytelling. Masterful. Like gut-wrenching drama, laugh-out-loud comedy. Something that leave you saying, wait, why haven't I seen this before? And you'll actually wonder, man, what else is out there that I haven't seen that has blown my mind? There's people out here, lads, that actually say Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad. I'm dead serious. And I gotta say, I even feel guilty when I say this because I love Breaking Bad so much. I think Better Call Saul is my number one of all time. Of all time. I mean, you gotta, you know, your legal counsel for great TV, right? Filing a motion to get you stop wasting your time and start watching Better Call Saul. Okay, I need to calm down just a small bit. All right, a couple of deep breaths, Peter. Soothing tones, soothing tones. I'll keep going now with that. Now, lads, let's give you a bit of background on Better Call Saul. Now, the scenario here is, whether you're a woman or a man, I'm dead serious. I genuinely believe that you love this. Now, I can see why maybe women would be turned off. All right? But you see, even with Breaking Bad, and Better Call Saul, both of them together, you have the human touch. Right? It's not all men and just blowing up people and drugs and this and that. It's not all that. There's the human side of it. That's what captures you. You know, you've got wives in here. So even for the ladies here, you've got wives, you've got girlfriends, and every time their husband or their boyfriend do something wrong, they get affected. And, you know, you can see the bloody tragedy, the heartbreak in their eyes. You know, even the men get heartbroken at stages. I mean, and then all of a sudden, you get knee deep into season 1 of Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad that you're hooked. Now, maybe it is one of those TV series that it takes a couple of episodes to get into it. All right? Even for me, lads, all right? I'm being very honest here. Even for me, when I started watching Breaking Bad at the start, it did take me about 4 or 5 episodes till I went, oh, wait, hang on a sec. And then, hooked. But I was so convinced, everybody, by so many people, black and blue, that I should watch it. And I watched it late, Breaking Bad. But I didn't watch Better Call Saul late. Oh, boy, oh, no. Because that would have been a tragedy, lads. And, okay, you've got Jimmy McGill, a.k.a. Saul Goodman. He's in Breaking Bad, and wow, did he blow up in Breaking Bad. I mean, what an unimaginable TV character. He's charming in a way, kind of sleazy, a lawyer trying to claw his way out of mediocrity. He's got a golden tongue in many ways, but a heart weighed down by sibling rivalry. And I think a lot of people, whether you're a man or woman, can relate to this type of thing. He's got the older brother, okay? An uncanny ability to turn even the simplest situation into a catastrophic mess. This is Saul Goodman in many ways. Oh, and of course, let's not forget, did we mention Mike Ehrmantraut? One of the greatest TV characters as well of all time. This guy is just the world's grumpiest fixer, whose advice is basically, don't be stupid, stupid. And together, Saul and Mike, they're a dynamic duo in the Wild West of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And you'll be blown away, like, Mike, ex-cop, turns to the dark side, let's say. And that's the cool thing about, when we watched Breaking Bad, we got to know a lot of these characters, like Saul and Mike. And then you know their background, okay? But you don't know how they all got to where they got to. And that's the great thing about Better Call Saul, man. You do see the backstory of Mike. You can even understand why he got to working on the dark side. I mean, it's kind of freaky. And you can understand why Saul went a bit mental. He's got his Chuck, his older brother. Crazy guy, this fella. And a real a-hole. A real a-hole. And I think a lot of us can relate to whether you've got an older brother or sister or a younger brother or sister that can be an a-hole. You know? And as we do dive in more to Better Call Saul, guys, you watch Jimmy's transformation into Saul, right? His real name is Jimmy McGill, but he then actually gives himself the nickname, or actually, well, a new name called Saul Goodman. Now, why does he do that? Why would a lawyer go off and do this? Like, it's unbelievable, right? But again, that's the cool thing, that it brings you on this train wreck, except the train's almost telling you lawyer jokes while it's crashing. It's unreal. There's Chuck, the brother who makes you question family loyalty, man. Kim Wexler, who might be the most badass woman on TV. In many ways, Kim is very quiet, shy, but man, if you cross her, or if she gets up and she gets going, whoo, she is a lion just stripping you down, man. And Gus Fring, the polite psychopath who could kill you with a smile. I mean, the guy just sends shivers down your spine. And of course, let's not forget the cartel. They're not just in the background. Oh, no, 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 no. These lads are playing chess while everyone is still figuring out checkers. Now, by the time you get to the later seasons, lads, I think you'll be gripping your seat, yelling at the screen, in shock with a lot of things, and you'll be even screaming, Jimmy, please, for the love of God, don't do it, don't do it. And then he does. And then in many ways, the guy comes out cleaner on the other side. I mean, it's glorious to watch. I think you'll laugh, you'll probably cry, you'll stress, eat snacks at 2 a.m. Well, that's being generous. I mean, if you're not up until 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm dead serious, by the way, I actually did binge watch this up until 5 a.m. and I was up until 8 a.m. or I was up 8 a.m. the next morning. I mean, what a loser, you're probably calling me. But hey, don't we all do it? You're one more. Why not? You know? And like, you're wondering how the show manages to be a prequel to Breaking Bad. Well, also being one of the best pieces of television ever. Like I said, for me, the greatest of all time, but forever. I mean, if you haven't seen it, lads, but you've seen Breaking Bad, here's what I would say you do. Go onto YouTube, put in Better Call Saul desert scene, and just have, this is, for me, the greatest TV scene I have ever seen in my life. It is a masterpiece. Now, look, maybe you'll need some context too, right? Because when I did see this on YouTube, just that one scene, you know, I have seen all Better Call Saul already, right? But maybe it gives you a taste, maybe it doesn't. All right, let's wrap this up. Look, lads, I could be sitting here all day trying to convince you to start watching Better Call Saul. But the truth is really, Better Call Saul speaks for itself. It really does. And if you don't start it tonight, well, let's just say you're committing a TV watch crime. Okay? Now, unless you are watching something else that I recommended to you or someone else recommended to you, okay, fair enough. But it better be something I recommended to you. But lads, if you haven't seen it, or this is your first time ever watching me, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. I mean, look, okay, here's what I would say. It is the greatest TV show of all time. There's been many, many rows with people online. Should you watch Breaking Bad first and then go to Better Call Saul, or should you do it the other way around? I honestly can't tell because I've seen Breaking Bad first. And that's because Better Call Saul wasn't even created then. So, I mean, this is a tough one really to answer which one you should start with. I would probably say maybe start with Breaking Bad. Right? So even we're talking about Better Call Saul here, doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Because if you watch Breaking Bad, then you're in for the #1 show of all time. And it's this, baby. So guys, if you've seen Breaking Bad, but not Better Call Saul, I hope this convinces you to do it. If you haven't seen both, I hope this convinces you to start Breaking Bad and come back to this, Better Call Saul. The TV program Billions, lads. There is a billion reasons why you need to watch this program if you have not already. You think your office politics is bad? You think your office politics is bad? Imagine if your coworker was plotting to bankrupt you. Your boss is 2 steps away from prison. No, not even 2. A hair away from prison. And your therapist was your enemy's secret weapon. Think about that. Your enemy's secret weapon. Your therapist. And that's not a workplace. This is billions. This stuff happens in life. Maybe not as exaggerated. No, let's not get too overboard. But no, that's seriously. And you know, a corporate jungle where money talks and decency? It's just another casualty, lads. So let's set this up here. We've got Bobby Axelrod, the legend, the myth, the star. I mean, this guy's just awesome to watch. What a villain, lads. You will be cheering this man on from the sidelines. He's so just badass cool. He's the Wall Street Robin Hood with a private jet and an appetite for chaos, destruction, faces off against Chuck Rhodes, played by Paul Giamatti, and Bobby Axelrod is played by Damian Lewis. 2 fantastic performances throughout this program. Chuck Rhodes, a U.S. attorney, he's obsessed with justice. If you think he is, he'd prosecute his own reflection if it didn't look the right way to him, right? And one plays with billions, the other plays with lives. The stakes is everything. And because in this game, the only thing worse than losing is admitting you've lost. I mean, it's a real battle of egos here. Now, billions, you might think it's all about money and billions and yachts and water skis, whatever, right? It ain't just about the money, lads. It's about what the money reveals. I mean, if you're into psychology, you find this, I think, extremely fascinating. I think everybody does, but especially if you are into to observing the mental psyche of a lot of people. And, you know, Axelrod's rise from a scrappy kid to a billionaire kingpin, it's obviously the American dream. It's what we all think of. Even over here in Ireland, we all think of it as the American dream or the Irish dream, whatever you call it, right? And it's with a few inside trading nightmares thrown in. Meanwhile, you got Chuck, is the Ivy League's moral avenger who's looking in daddy's pockets every 4 seconds, battling corporate greed while wrestling his own demons, and occasionally enjoying them a little too much. Because sometimes you think about Chuck. Is he really on the good side? Does he really play for revenge? Yeah, and then to mix in Wendy Rhodes. Wendy Rhodes, what a epic, iconic character. Brilliant. She's married to Chuck. She's, at the same time, she works for Axe as the therapist. I mean, can you imagine being in that type of scenario? Ridiculous. You're married to a woman and she's off working for your enemy. Like that's what we're dealing with here. And then, you know, in a way, Wendy's playing both sides so smoothly that you'd think the woman invented chess. Now, she's not doing it on purpose. Well, so we think. Maybe she set this all up from day one. But the battlefield is Manhattan. The currency, secrets, lies, and leverage. Now, each season, lads, escalates like a Wall Street bidding war. And really, I think the sandwich between Chuck and Bobby is Wendy. Because you've just got this anger building up inside Chuck that his wife could go ahead and work for a man like Bobby in his eyes. Then you've got Axe on the other side here, who's paranoid. He's not sure of Wendy sometimes. Then again, he's incredibly loyal to Wendy, and he trusts her with her life. Then again, there's been certain moments, which I'm not going to ruin, there's certain moments in the program where you think Axe thinks that she's double-crossed him, and you do see why he comes to this conclusion. And really, Wendy's torn between loyalty to her husband and her professional ties to Axe.
That's what brought this on.
Well,
You knew right then.
you've got the supporting players, like greedy traders, scheming lawyers, one gloriously unhinged Taylor Mason. Weird. Add fuel to the fire with this one. Every deal is a dagger, every lawsuit a ticking time bomb. And then just when you think Axe has won, Chuck pulls a legal rabbit out of a well-tailored hat. Out of nowhere.
I want him to know.
And, I mean, you really think that Axe is like 5 steps above, planning ahead and 5 steps ahead of everybody. But you gotta admit, Chuck, even for a government guy, he's quite smart. Then comes the inevitable showdowns. Now I'm saying plural, lads. Showdowns. It's wonderful. This is a great thing about Billions. There is showdowns at the end of every season. I'm not going to ruin anything for you, right? But you can probably see where this is going to, okay? And you've got so many different showdowns that you see the characters reflect in what they've done. Should they go for revenge? Should they leave it go? And every move affects Chuck, Axe, and Wendy, and obviously all the other employees. But between those three, Chuck, Wendy, and Axe, it really, you can see the ripple effect that every move, every strategic move has an effect on each one of them. And they have times for reflection. They have times when they come together. And, I mean, even at one stage, Chuck lands a crushing blow, right? Blow. Freezing Axe's assets and almost toppling his empire. Guys, this doesn't give anything away, okay? Believe me, because there's so many different showdowns. But even Axe, he retaliates with moves so mad it leaves Chuck questioning not just his plan, but his entire moral compass. Then there's Wendy standing in the wreckage, the only one that understands that no one has won here by playing dirty. No one has won by playing clean here. She knows that the fact that they've got into this in the first place, that's the real loss here. At the end of the whole series, lads, Billions doesn't just tie it up nice and pretty with a dicky bow on top with a nice little kiss on the cheek. It's not its style, man. No way. And not going to give everything away, but, you know, the ending, it leaves you with questions. You know, what is the price of power? How far do you go? How far is too far? And more importantly, where can you buy Axe's penthouse? Like, it's unbelievable. The amount of money that just goes around in this show is incredible. But one thing's for sure, lads. Money might not buy happiness, but God, it makes good TV. This is why you need to watch The House of Cards, lads. If you haven't seen it on Netflix, get on it now. What if I told you there's a show where every handshake hides a knife? Every smile, there's a strategy behind it. Every smile. And you're wondering, what are these people up to? They're thinking 3 or 4 moves ahead of everybody else. Some are 3 or 4 moves ahead of someone. Some aren't. And The House of Cards, lads, it pulls back the curtain on power, but it rips it down and dares you to look. It's kind of like looking in Pandora's box, right? And a lot of this stuff is real, according to a lot of people. Now, I've never worked in Washington, D.C., right, and there's corruption, but apparently a lot of this stuff is real. And if you haven't watched it, brace yourself. This isn't just television. It's an addiction, a revelation, a wild ride into the corners of the biggest thing, ambition, power. That's what it's all about, lads. Everybody wants this in The House of Cards. Some are able to keep it. Some are able to never get it and keep it. It's everywhere. Power isn't handed over, it's taken. It's stolen and pried from the cold, dead hands of anyone foolish enough to stand in the way. And they will cut your throat to get it. It's ruthless. Frank Underwood, Kevin Spacey, ladies and gentlemen, what an insane performance by this man. He's the epitome of ruthless, dark, evil man. And it's all about ambition. And he even states at one stage that he looks down at people who chase money. He doesn't understand it. He actually genuinely doesn't understand why people go on the look and strategize their every move to get money. because he really believes in the power. He believes in the grand statue, the huge building that people should have instead of money, because he says that's the real property out there. And, you know, he starts as a loyal congressman, and it seems, well, so we seem, betrayed by the very president he helped elect, right? And here's the twist. Frank doesn't get mad. He gets even. So let's look at the background here a little bit, lads. So obviously it's set in Washington, D.C. in America. Now, it's not your political typical drama here, right? The stakes are high. Frank and his equally ruthless, calculating wife, Claire. I mean, guys, this sometimes this woman would send shivers down your spine. She's so ruthless. I mean, pure evil. But yet, you're drawn to her. You're drawn to Francis. You're drawn to what they're going to do at every turn. And in fairness, sometimes you're even rooting for them because you want them to win. It's sick. You're almost questioning yourself, like, am I all right? Like, why am I cheering on these people? They're sick. They're mental. And, you know, they're a power couple like no other. Because you don't have just one guy, Francis Underwood, who's Kevin Spacey. You've got two, Claire, who's backing his every move. Two people against the world. And together, they redefine couple goals if your goal is to rule the world. And it's about manipulation at its finest. It's an art form, lads. And you'll see how alliances are forged, enemies crushed, pawns sacrificed, and all with chilling precision. And it's not just about the politics, it's the personal. Every decision Frank and Claire make comes with a price. And they know it. And watching them navigate this world is as thrilling and terrifying at the exact same time. As the seasons progress on, lads, believe me, there's plenty of watching. It's great because it doesn't get relaxed. The stakes get even higher and higher and more dangerous for Francis and Claire. Francis is trying to become president and crawl his way up that mountain to get to the top by deceiving, lying, manipulating, controlling, taking people down at his every move if he has to. And his wife has got his back, believe you me. And it's amazing because one thing, that there's no way he's going to win here. And bang, he does. Then sometimes he loses. And, you know, what's great is the stakes get higher, but his enemies are more stronger, more adaptable, and they're more dangerous than you think. So you think that, oh, can he do it? Can he do it? We'll see, right? But, you know, every glance, every whisper, every calculated move adds to the suspense, lads. And then just when you think you've everything figured out, kaboom, a twist. And you never see it coming. And of course, let's not forget the way House of Cards drags you into the game. Frank talks to us. Okay, every now and then you'll see Frank involve us. He'll turn to the camera and start talking to us and tell us a little bit about what he's up to or what somebody is really like. And he's got this conniving, devious, evil smile. And quite charming too in a lot of ways. So I mean, it's great. It's great. And, you know, he looks into your eyes. He shares his plans. And you're in on the con with him. You want him to win. And that's when you do start questioning yourself. Now, we're not going to give anything away here, lads, okay? No spoilers. But I will say this. By the time we get to the end of Season 2, there's a moment so shocking, so brilliantly executed, like a grandmaster at chess. You'll sit there drooling, frothing at the mouth, looking for more, slack-jawed, unable to believe what just happened. It's the kind of TV, honestly, lads, people talk about for months, maybe even years afterwards. Hey, did you see House of Cards? What season are you up to? Oh my God, you're not going to believe it, man. Like, it's insane. And that's not even the series peak. The twists keep coming. The stakes keep going up and up and up. and you realize there's no turning back for the Underwoods. That's the wonderful thing, lads. They've gone so far up the mountain, they've reached and they've gone past the point of no return. It's either everything or it's nothing. And you're locked into them, guys, and it's a hell of a ride. And here's the beauty of the House of Cards, lads. It doesn't just entertain. It challenges you. It forces you to question your own mentality, lads. I mean, really, do you root for Frank? Do you root for Claire? Because 1 minute you'll be gunning for them, 2 minutes later you will absolutely detest them. Then sometimes you'll actually love Frank, but you'll hate Claire. Then you'll love Claire and you'll hate Frank. And 4 seconds later, you're like, yeah, you are the greatest cheerleader that's ever walked the earth to rooting them on. And, you know, it's a mirror held up, lads, to the darker sides of ambition and humanity. You know, if you're ready for a show that grabs you by the collar, grabs you by the neck, pulls you into the shadows of power and doesn't let go, House of Cards is waiting. Now, I know I've reviewed a good few shows that are edge of cliff hangers. I mean, insane stuff, make you question things. And there is a lot of great TV shows out there, but this is one of the best, lads. This really is. Masterclass in manipulation, corruption, dancing with danger, reaching the point of no return, and you have to go. You have to continue. And the twists are so good. I think this is probably the best TV program I've ever seen in terms of twists, right? Some of the programs are, I mean, just fantastic when they have a twist and you're like, oh my, never would have seen that coming. But this one, I personally think this one takes it to just a higher level than the other ones when it comes to twists. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. Press play. It's on Netflix. After all, lads, the game of power waits for no one. Okay, stop scrolling and listen up, lads. And this is why you need to see Cobra Kai, because this is one insanely funny show. What if I told you that there's middle-aged men solving their problems by kicking the crap out of each other? Right? Now, I think we all know about Karate Kid, the movies. Now, somehow it's the most emotional, Cobra Kai now, somehow it's the most emotional, hilarious, like brilliant TV program you watch all year. If you're not watching it, you're basically in a mental split like Van Damme, but without the coolness, man. Okay, here's the kicker. Literally, you've got Johnny Lawrence, this guy, the original blonde boy, karate bad boy. Okay, he's from the original Karate Kid movies. If you didn't know that, and living life now as a broke handyman, right? I mean, he's drinking every night, he's eating crap, he's just completely lost his life, like total loser, all right? And he decides to reboot the Cobra Kai Dojo. Now, the Cobra Kai Dojo was the karate club that he was with in the karate movies, right? So he decides to bring it back to life, and he's gonna be becoming Johnny again, okay? So then you've got Daniel LaRusso, the original Karate Kid, the hero, Daniel's son, all right? A Mr. Wax On, Wax Off, baby. And he's now a car dealer, and he's very successful, but at the same time, he's holding on to like decade-long grudges. And even when he sees a poster, an old photo of Johnny, he starts to have epic meltdowns. I mean, you can see he completely freezes up. And it's so good, lads. And like, it's like two uncles. The two of them, when they get together in this, you've got Johnny on one side, you've got Danny on the other. It's like two uncles at a barbecue arguing over who can grill better, except with high kicks. The background of this, lads, it all started in the 80s with Karate Kid Part 1, 2 and 3 of the movies. And I mean, they were epic back in the day. Huge blockbusters. I mean, the guy was a god to kids, Ralph Macchio, as the Karate Kid. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was up there with Back to the Future, with Michael J. Fox with Back to the Future. Really, truly was, if you don't know. And, like, karate was the solution to a lot of problems, from, sorting out the bully to impressing the girls. And fast forward, and these guys are still living in the era. They are still in the 80s, believe you me. I mean, I remember there's one scene where they decide to go against each other, Lawrence and Danielson, and you just see two absolute losers fueled up, and they think that everybody cares and no one gives a damn. They're bored of them. They're just it's insanely funny, and they just can't shake off the 80s, and that's when they peaked, right? And they're trying to get back to that peak now, or even better, even try and topple the peak. I mean, these guys should be in therapy, really. They really should. But they're settling their issues with a dojo war. And probably best, otherwise they probably would end up in therapy. I mean, mess. And I suppose, hey, why talk it out when you can crane kick your way to inner peace, huh? Now here's where it gets worse, lads. It's not just Johnny and Daniel going at it. It's their students that start to go at it in this show. And I'm not ruining anything for you here. And I mean, you'd be amazed. All you see is you see these high school girls and guys like going at it hard, you know, and you're just like, this is ridiculous. This is what is going on. Like, this is wrong on so many levels. There's love triangles, there's school brawls that look like something out of like Fast and Furious or fight scenes or something. More betrayals than The Young and the Restless, The Bold and Beautiful, any sort of EastEnders or whatever. And at one point, I mean, karate literally spills into the LaRusso's family house. And you've got to admire the commitment to chaos. And I mean, they really up the ante, guys. Even season 1 is quite, I wouldn't say violent, but they kind of tone it down. But they do start pushing the envelope as the seasons go on. And it doesn't stop just there, lads. It even gets worse. We've got the villains from the old movies itself coming back. You got Terry Silver, that rich guy, the millionaire ponytail dude who treats evil, like who treats life like an evil mastermind audition. I mean, he's an evil guy. It's karate, all-out warfare. They treat it like they're back in Vietnam, and grown men wearing the GI uniforms, teenagers throwing punches. It's ridiculous, hilarious, little bit cringe every now and then, right? Because in fairness, they do actually, they do a good, they don't do a good job. They do a great job of actually making it suitable for both kids and adults. And I think there's a little bit of nostalgia for us adults, right? I mean, I grew up with the Karate Kid series, so I loved, seeing this, and it does even bring back memories for me. And it's great. I mean, it's very charming, in that many ways. And at the same time, there is moments where like, oh, it's a little cringe. But actually, it's not cringe where you want to fast forward or anything. You're just like, all right, just give it 30 seconds, and then you're back into it. It's great, and it's on Netflix, lads. It's brilliant, honestly, brilliant. And why should you watch it? Because, lads, Cobra Kai, there's heart, there's humor, head kicks, people getting their asses handed to them. It's like a time machine that doesn't take you back. So, if you even if you're like myself, if you did grow up in it, it'll bring you right back to childhood. If you're a Gen Z, I think you'll love it, because it does actually, in fairness, like I said, it combines both. Where else can you see two middle-aged men settle their issues by fighting in a bonsai shop?
You stole the man's.
Go watch it, lads. Strike first, strike hard. And I'm telling you, on Netflix, and I think there's 5 or 6 seasons now at the moment. Sorry, I forget now, brain fart right here. But highly, highly recommend. Ladies and gentlemen, this is epic. This is why you need to watch The Last Dance. Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls, there's just the greatest team of all time. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Everybody will be hooked on this TV program. Lads, before I get into it, I'm Irish. Now, even for my American audience here, I've no doubt that Michael Jordan is a huge part of your life, or He's an icon. He was a god, even for us in Ireland, 5,000 miles away from America itself. He was a god to us when we were growing up. A god. We all wore our Jordans, the 180s, the Air Jordans itself. That we all had our 23 top on. We all had our hats. I mean, it was insane. Michael Jordan fever was through the roof. I mean, Michael Jordan, he didn't just raise the bar, lads. He dunked it so high that aliens would need a ladder to reach the thing. You know? I mean, I watched The Last Dance. I've watched it about 3 times already. All right? And, you know, I came back with 2 thoughts. Will anybody be ever as good? Ever? Now, believe me, lads, okay? I am not a huge basketball fan, all right? I can keep an eye on it every now and then, so I know there's the LeBrons and people like this out there, so I'm not here to dispute that, all right? Don't get me wrong. I'm just going by what I know of this TV program. And a lot of people say that he's the greatest of all time. Whatever it is, okay? Whatever it is, that's fine. But the second part I picked up on this is how in God's name did Scottie Pippen keep a straight face through all the drama and the nonsense? Okay, let's try and fill in a bit of the background here. I don't think I need to explain who Michael Jordan is to any man or woman out there, right? In fact, we're going to move on because we all know who the man is. Let's be real here, though. This man, Michael Jordan, he strolled around casually winning championships. It's unreal. Fueling himself on cigars, bad golf bets, well, any type of bet anyway. The man had bet on tiddlywinks, for Christ's sake. And it was fueled on pure spite. He just wanted to get one up on everybody. And I mean, and it's never been clearer in this TV program. The guy was just ego, I don't know, whatever you call it, but there's moments where you're just like, wow, this guy he's nuts. And Scotty, poor guy's out there, he's given 110%, earning 1% of what he should be got, what he should have got. And you'll see the way that goes down in this TV program, lads. I mean, it's heartbreaking for Scottie Pippen. It really was. The guy was amazing. He was amazing, man. Somebody that you wanted on the team. And he was still getting a side eye for Jordan for not being telepathic, I guess. Like, and Dennis Rodman. The guy takes a vacation mid-finals to hit Vegas, and when he gets back, they're like, all right, man, it's cool. Let's move on. Like, the guy just vanishes into thin air. The team are wondering, where the hell is the guy gone? Michael Jordan finally tracks him down. He's in bed with Carmen Electra in Vegas, and he comes back and they have to say, all right, let's move on. No punishment, nothing. I mean, guys, like if cowboys and Indians here, lads. And, you know, and then they say, all right, let's get back into it, lads. Let's win game 5, right? I mean, it's like a superhero movie or something, the way that the lads were treated. And what's so cool about The Last Dance, lads, is obviously we're speaking about Michael Jordan. He was so competitive. But here's the kicker. Jordan wasn't competing against other teams. He was also battling against his own team, his own boss, coach. I mean, battling against other people? Kidding me? Walk in the park. Too easy. He had to take on everybody. I mean, even the guy who sold him popcorn at halftime, right? He'd challenge him. I mean, the guy would turn a good morning, Michael, into a personal vendetta, right? He'd give him the look and go, oh yeah, good morning? Yeah, well, I'll show you good morning. And he'd score 50 points or whatever it was, break a new world record just to shove it up his teammate's ass. And the drama, lads, I mean, you've got Michael Jordan storming into locker rooms like a general, a dictator, right? Then you've got Rodman disappearing like David Copperfield magician, right? Pippen sitting there going, lads, you know, I'm carrying this team. What's going on here, you know? Yeah, but okay, all right, Michael, it's your team. All right, fair enough. I mean, whoa. And then there's Phil Jackson, the Zen master himself, right? Holding it all together as best as he can. I don't know how the poor fella did this. with meditation, cryptic mumbo jumbo. Is there a secret yoga pose for managing lunatics? I don't know how this guy managed this. Then that final season. Oh, lads, you can taste the chaos on your tongue. Every game felt like a dramatic soap opera ending or a dramatic movie ending. It was just unbelievable. No prisoners. Absolutely not. It was everything. There is no tomorrow attitude. Just beautiful. Jordan played like his life depended on it. Scottie Pippen is falling apart. There's guys trying to keep the whole thing together. Rodman, well, where was he? You don't know. Yet somehow they pulled the magic together and they pulled the whole thing off. It's and then they win it all again. I'm sitting there on my couch surrounded by potato chip crumbs thinking I can't even commit to a diet plan every now and then. Never mind this. To wrap it all up, lads, I mean, I think really the magic of The Last Dance is seeing how a team can fall apart and, well, look like they fall apart, but yet they manage to just bring it all together at that last second and bang, they just go out and nail it. Kick ass. And it keeps you on your toes. It's like a emotional roller coaster because one minute you're thinking, no, okay, that's it. There's no way. And then you're wondering, wow, pure magic from Jordan, Rodman, Scottie Pippen. Amazing, lads. And, you're wondering, these guys need to be in therapy. Team therapy. Many, many years of therapy. But yet they managed to pull it all off. And at the end of the day, sometimes you think when you're watching it, geez, is that what we want to be? Okay, we don't want to be the crazy guy, but maybe there is something to being the crazy person. You're on edge. You could fall off at any moment. But then the good part, you can work magic. I mean, lads, Michael Jordan didn't just play basketball. It was World War. And if you ever want to see a sports athlete, I think probably he's the greatest of all time. Many would argue with me, maybe, and that's understandable. But he's certainly right up there. For me, number one of all time out of all the sports in all the world. And to see under the bonnet of Michael Jordan in this TV program, it'll disturb you in many ways. You gotta go see it. Okay, lads, if you want to see the greatest World War II TV program, this is the one, and this is why you have to see it. Band of Brothers is over 20 years old, and it still kicks ass like you wouldn't believe. If you have not seen this, get to it. Get to it now. Okay? Go back to the movie you're watching. Come back to that afterwards. Believe me, you'll be hooked. Okay, here we go. Imagine standing in the freezing cold, your breath visible as the Nazis are firing all around you, echoing through the forests. And the bonds you forge with men beside you, some of you might even be able to relate to this if you've been in a war, or if you've been in a team sport, okay? And the only guy keeping you alive is the guy next to you. And, lads, Band of Brothers, it takes you into this reality. And here's the thing. I think it's so good and so powerful, even you'll feel like that bond and brotherhood to a degree, all right? Maybe a lot, maybe a small bit. But it really does give you a real sense of what these guys go through. Now, as best as a TV program can, all right? Let's keep it real here too at the same time, right? But it asks this haunting question: how far can loyalty and courage take you into unimaginable horror? Like, lads, if you take out the history books, okay, a lot of the war stories, they fade, all right? You know, that the human cost is reduced to, like, numbers and dates, you know? But what if the stories weren't just statistics here? What if they came alive, pounced off the goddamn screen? Because that's exactly what this does. It it shows the friendship, the sacrifice, the sheer grit of men, not just for victory, but for each other. Each other. I mean, there's World War II veterans feel guilty that they did not die on the battlefield because they feel that the guys who died on battlefield were the real heroes. And if they didn't die, well, then they just got away with something. Can you imagine living in a world like that? Certainly not in our days now in 2024. Hell no. I mean, we're pathetic compared to these guys. I mean, it's insane. I mean, Band of Brothers, guys, it confronts the head-on. The peeling back the layers of heroism. I mean, and it shows you that the fear, the doubt, the humanity of the soldiers who lived through this. So guys, what is Band of Brothers all about? Well, obviously it doesn't take a genius. It's a World War II, so we all know the backstory. But where does it focus in on? So it focuses in on a group called Easy Company. And these guys were on the Normandy beaches on D-Day, but these guys actually were in the background, right? This really where it all starts off. And then they start pushing into Holland, into Germany, and there's other parts which are amazing to watch, by the way, and it's all true stories. And what it does also is that it shows you the planning, even D-Day, right? Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you have seen Saving Private Ryan, the greatest World War II movie of all time. I don't care what anybody says. Nothing beats Saving Private Ryan. But this is the Easy Company that were in the background. They weren't on the beach. These guys were up in behind the scenes trying to take out the tanks and the cannons that were shooting down onto the beaches. So they, like, without these guys, these paratroopers, the guys on the beach even had less of a chance. And we start off their whole journey from D-Day and pushing through into mainland Europe. And episode after episode, lads, we're pulled in further as they go into the mainland Europe. We get to know the troops a lot better. And look, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to ruin anything, but some people die, some people live. And it's heartbreaking, it's exciting, it'll make you angry, it pulls you through so many different emotions for these guys. And you do really see the bond as their bond as they go through just gets stronger. They go through freezing winters, summers, they're dwindling in supplies, their mental scars of combat. And you come to care about them. You really do. Like these guys, some of them are complete a-holes. You know, like you might see one or two guys at the start of the TV series and you go, oh, I don't like this guy. But come to see our episode 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7, you start loving these guys. Because you're on the journey with them, lads, to some degree here. Pinnacle of Band of Brothers, lads, is its brutal honesty. It doesn't glorify war. It shows the cost that these guys went through, as we all know, in real life. There's moments when their strength is pushed to the brink. Their humanity is called into question. They wonder, are they monsters? Are they demons? Are they good people? Should they have lived? Should they not live? They just don't know where to go. And it really does highlight the emotional roller coaster that these lads go through. And like we said, guys, we focus in on Easy Company. That's where it all begins for this one. I think you'll find yourself gripping your seat, seeing guys go through impossible odds. By the end, lads, you're not just watching another TV random program. You're living this program. It's amazing. The sacrifice, the lessons of the resilience, lads. It's an experience, this TV program. It really is. Really, truly is. There's no There's no make-believe here. There's no sing-song. There's no WWE moments to this, lads, all right? There's no fakeness. This is all based on true goddamn stories. And it's rated as one of the top in IMDb of TV programs of all time. And afterwards, you'll probably start watching World War II documentaries because you'll just be gripped. Lads, the Band of Brothers, drop everything what you're doing and watch it now.
Peter.